Hi guys, welcome to Monday Jumpstart. Happy St. Gertrude's Day, Margie said.
Yeah.
It does happen to be St. Patrick's Day today. Whoa. Happy St. Gertrude's Day, Margie said.
That's you.
That was me. I forgot to mute the TV that I brought YouTube up on. And let's see. I have not got my camera very straight, so there we go. I think I got it. Yeah, I just realized over the weekend that it was St. Patrick's Day today, and I went, crap, I didn't even get a corned beef. I really like corned beef.
Me too.
I don't have it very often, like, once a year. I don't know why. I would eat it more often. It's actually really good. But I didn't even get one. How you doing, Margie? Hey, Jen. Also St. Gertrude's Day, patron saint of cats. Oh, I didn't know that, but that's pretty darn cool. We have a lot of cats and cat lovers in Happy Paper People. So that's actually pretty awesome. Let's see. So, Jen, I assume you're working today. I assume they don't give you St. Patrick's Day off. That would be nice, huh?
If she was in Boston, they might, but they had their St. Patrick's Day parade yesterday.
And Margie, I'm assuming that Cuppy is making sure that you remember that it is her day. Hey, Glynis, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Hi, Glynis.
If you are here for the first time, welcome. We definitely would like to welcome you to Happy Paper People. And I just realized I forgot to do something in the settings to open closed caption. I do need to do that. And if you're watching on the replay, then we hope that one day you'll get to join us on Monday Jumpstart. But we also realize that people who are working during the day, like Jen, sometimes put it in their ear and can listen, but can't do a lot of participating because they're working or they're acting like they're working. So, and that's okay. We do understand that. We do have a whole replay team that only gets to watch them on replay, and that is just fine. We all do a lot of replay watching. So either way, we welcome you here. We welcome you back. We welcome you on replay. If without you watching one way or the other, we wouldn't have any need to be here. So we do appreciate you. So yes, though wishing I wasn't. Yeah, Jen. Yeah. Working, but wishing you weren't. Today there's Ricky. Hello, Ricky. Here for a bit and maybe back. Anything you guys doing besides die cutting and talking? Pretty quiet day. Good. Ricky, we are specifically going to show creative ways that you can use die cuts in your junk journaling. So it's not a batch making day. It's not like batch cutting. We'll do that. We're going to do that one day because there are several of us that just want to sit down and batch cut die cuts and have lots of them on hand. And so we'll do that one day. And while we're doing it, we'll just go live so we can hang out and talk. And then we'll just all cut dies from scraps and build up our stash of that. But today is not about cutting the dies. Today is about talking about different ways that you can use the die cuts in your junk journaling and other projects, albums, cards, scrapbooks, those kinds of things. They're all very, very similar. So just for anybody who is brand new to the world of dies and die cutting, let me make a clarification. I get asked this a lot, and I am aware of a couple people that are brand new to it. And so I'm going to, although most of you may already know this,
brand new.
I'm going to say this for those who don't, because I remember at the beginning being very confused when some people said dies and some people said die cuts. And some, are you talking about the same thing? What are you talking about? And then I would say one thing and somebody thought I meant something else, but that's not what I meant. So let me just clarify. The metal piece that cuts out whatever this is the die. It's like you have a punch that punches out a shape, and that is a punched shape. It's a punched whatever, but the punch is the tool that cuts it, and then the punched item is the result. This is the die. The die is the tool. The die cut is what is cut out of that. So I use the die, which is a tool, and then I end up with a die cut. That's the paper that I'm cutting out of it, the result, the end thing that I'm going to be using. And I've got, I sat up late last night, cut out a whole bunch of things. I didn't even weed all of them. Weeding means pushing out all the little things that are in the holes, you know, that you don't need. So this is the die. This is the die cut. And that helps because if you are asking about one or trying to find one that you want to buy or something, and you ask somebody, you know, about this die cut, and what you really mean is that the die, because you want to purchase the die. And if you say die cut, I'm going to think you're talking about the paper that has been die cut. So that helps you to use the right terminology there. So Margie, thank you. Thank you for your support. I certainly do appreciate you. Pretty quiet day for Jen. Get to listen while working on her tasks. Awesome. So I didn't sit down and write out any agenda and form or format for any of this. I just cut out a bunch of things and things that I grabbed a bunch of dies and things that I would use or could use in a junk journal and in different ways. And I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of paper over here that will help for demonstration purposes. So there's really no what's the word? No order.
Agenda.
Yeah, there's no order in which these are being presented. They'll just be different ideas. And DM has been without power a lot, so she's busy cutting her, using her dies and cutting out her die cuts. So let me go ahead and take the screen for a few minutes and share with you a few ideas. So I've got a lot of things here, and let's see where to start. Let's start with something like this. These two came in a set. Actually, if I do this, it'll be nice and white and you'll be able to see. These two came in a set. And I don't even know exactly what they are. They're probably corners, like for scrapbook pages, or, you know, just decorative corners is all they are. And so everything I'm going to show you today and everything DM is doing has been cut out of scraps. This is the best. I love just sitting down and cutting a bunch of die cuts with the dies, because it's a great way to use up a ton of scraps. So you cut it out of your scraps, and then what you have left after you cut it out, this is a scrap or an offcut. What I have left here goes in the trash. Do not keep it. Get rid of those scraps. Let them move on. So this being a nice corner, I can put that on a page in a journal, in a junk journal. This is a really dark one, so it may not be the page that I would put it on, but this is really dark. But I could put that on a page and use it as a corner pocket. Okay, if you feel like it's too fragile because it's got all the holes and you're going to be stuffing stuff in it and end up tearing it, then what works really well is I dropped it on the floor. Grab it with my trusty grabber, to line it with a piece of coffee dyed paper. It could be, or tea dyed. It could be very light like that. So you aren't going to punch a tiny circles from that scrap. No, I'm not. If it is large enough that I can get something else out of it that I'm doing at that moment, I will do it right then. If not, it goes right in the trash. The idea is to use the scraps and move them on. So, and then on this, I would just cut it just slightly shorter than this, so I wouldn't have it outside there. I would cut it just slightly shorter. I would glue that down so that it becomes firm on there. And now when I slide things in, they have a little bit of a backing. The other side of this has some really nice polka dots. If you like the look of that, you could do that as well. And you don't really see those through it because there's so much design. So I would probably not use this page. I would just find one that is just plain and simple and use that. So nice corner. This can be used as a corner tuck. So you've got a good corner, a big corner tuck, a little corner tuck. This is also a nice one for up in the top corner. And again, backed, and then just stick a journal card or something right up, in there to hold it. So these are really pretty, and they can just be used in so many different ways. I mean, you're going to look at the ones that I've cut, and you're going to say, well, I could do this, and I could do that, and the other with that. And I hope that your brain does that and think of all kinds of things that you could use it for. Let's get focus again. We lost it on that white tray. And I want you to think of lots of different ways, because you've got lots of dies too, things that you could use them for. I'm only going to give you, just a few ideas. So these are trims. These are trims that you might use in scrapbooking. These are all different kind of trims. And these are ones that I would use to layer on belly bands. Or use it as a belly band itself. If I had the pages like this is perfect to go this way, and then tuck something down in that. And how cute is that? And when you cut this out of anything, see, one side of this was dark brown, and one side of it is kind of a blue and cream, and has words and music on it. So if I was putting it on something like this, I could use that dark brown side. If I was putting it on something darker, I would use this side. Now, one of my tricks with these, because you say, well, how do I know what to cut it out of? Because I don't know what color I'm going to need for, whatever journal I'm doing. First of all, if these are good scraps in my scrap, that means there's things that I have used that paper. So they're probably going to be good colors that I will use regularly. However, these I went ahead and did these on double-sided paper, double-sided, not all of them, double-sided printed, printed double side, printed on both sides paper. They're all papers double-sided, right, Margie? But one of my tricks is cutting things if I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, cutting them on paper and out of multiple colors. So I could cut this particular one, which has a really nice, it's got a really nice design in it. It's very pretty. I could cut this out of 10 different colors and have it sitting there, but I will cut them out of paper that only has print on one side. So the back is white. And so if I go to use it on something, I'm sure that there's a better example here somewhere. I go to use it on something and I don't have the color that I want. I can turn it over, and on the back, I can stamp on it. I can watercolor on it. I could do any number of things to change the color because the back is white. So I will do that a lot. I'll cut it out of scraps that I think will be different colors that I might use. And then I will cut a whole bunch out of paper that is white on the back. Okay, so here's a good example. This die is bricks. And so now I have a die cut of a bunch of bricks. And this is one that is good even to tear up into sections and use them at different places on the paper, on the page, or on a tag. I might only need a small section on the tag and then a teeny tiny bit somewhere else just to add a little bit of continuity. But it's red, and it's kind of variegated red to dark red, but maybe I don't always want red as the brick. So I did one that has the back being white, I can set this in my splat box and spray it with anything. I can take an ink pad and set this down and just press the ink pad on top of it to change its color. I could do any number of things to make this whatever color I want. I also cut one out of paper that is, it's actually a wood grain, which you can't really tell, but you probably can now that I told you.
That looks cool.
It's white, yeah, with a lot of dark. And so that looks a lot more distressed. Distressed brick. Even Flat Stanley's double-sided.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was laughing at. I was about ready to say. I haven't seen Flat Stanley in a long time.
Long time, I know. And the back is more black with a little bit of white. But I like this side because it really does look distressed. It looks just like they're all chipped and whatever. But I would like to have multiples that have a white back so that I could do, whatever I wanted on those. So one of the things that I really like to do is cut out a lot of florals. And I cut out some that I haven't done before or haven't done a lot of, so that I would have some of them. And so, like, here's a maple leaf. This is ginseng. What color is ginseng?
Sort of a dusky gray.
The color of ginger.
A dusky green.
Like the color of ginger? Kind of, sort of? No?
Yeah, they're multicolored, I think.
That's, shoot, what kind of leaf is that? It just left me. And then this is some kind of green. Oak, yes, thank you. And so these are flowers with the greenery coming out behind them. And they're just die cut out of white. Often when I'm doing flowers, I will do them out of watercolor paper scraps because the watercolor paper is awesome to work on. What are these? These poppies?
Generic. Those look like poppies.
They do look like poppies. Okay. So, and then I will do a whole bunch of them. I will spread them out on a piece of paper and I will be prepared, which I am not right now. That's okay. And then I'll just take a brush. I'm going to grab some red because of the poppies. And just watercolor on these. And you can do the whole thing. I'll do the whole thing nice and light. And then I'll do some green stem. And then I can come back and decide where I want it darker. Boy, I grabbed a little more of that and it really darkened it up right away because that's pretty good paint. So I'm just going to use that same paint off of this one and move it to the next one. This is not watercolor paper. So I don't want it to be super saturated, but I'll do that, let that dry, and then come back in. That kind of looks like the back of it, which is probably green. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll come back in after it's dry and go, okay, I want it to be, a little darker in here. And maybe lighten up as it comes out. Let that dry a little bit. And then with kind of just a damp brush, I'll pull that out to kind of spread that color. So we've got that dark center. I don't want too much water there. This is super quick. Super, super quick. It'd take a little more time than that, but put that dark in the center and then kind of spread it out with just a damp brush, and so it goes from dark to light and you don't see a line of a big blob of dark in the center. And then I'll probably get black and put some little black dots in the center like the poppies have. Grab some green and do green on these stems. And then you've got, watercolored flowers of all different kinds. The one set that I was looking for of a set of dies of flowers I can't find, and it was sitting right on my desk, so I must have set it aside when we needed the space one day for for alive, and now I don't see it here, but it has wildflowers, and I really like the wildflowers because I can do them all different colors. I'll cut out a whole bunch of them, and one flower, I'll do it in 5 or 6 different colors, and then another flower, I'll do it in 5 or 6 different colors. Then whatever I'm doing, I have the variety of colors to choose from to grab them. But this is one that would be really pretty in a corner on a say you had just a regular corner, not this, but maybe you just cut out, you cut out a triangle like that becomes the corner, and you really need something on it. So this is really pretty to put on it. And if you've colored the flower a color and some greenery coming out there, it's just a simple decoration that really amps up your corner. And a lot of people like to keep those things flat so they don't get a whole lot of bulge in the book. And that is in place of having to, get a flower, an artificial flower, and put it on there. So it's flatter than, I have flowers, I have paper flowers and fabric flowers, but they do add bulk. So if you don't want a gator mouth, you don't want any bulk, then doing your flat die cut ones is a better option. Same thing with butterflies and dragonflies. I have not finished weeding this one either, but a really pretty dragonfly. And you can come in here with different colors. This would be one for great iridescent colors. So you can spray it with a shimmer spray, or watercolor it with some iridescent watercolors, changing the color as you go out, and do multiples that are in different colors. Those are very pretty. And this is one that's just happy flying on your page anywhere. Love to use that. Sometimes you look at a page and it just needs something, but you don't know exactly what. All right, here's one that came with a die set that has journal cards, a couple of journal cards with some cutouts and some words on them. And then it had this one with it. And this is a wonderful pocket across the bottom of the page. And if you do it on a heavy cardstock, it's fine just like it is. And you can see whatever is through it. But again, if you think that you want it to be backed, you could back it with acetate to make that pocket. You could back it with a dyed paper. So depending what color you have cut this out, again, you can cut it in white, and so that you can color it, watercolor it, or crayon color it, or spray it any color that you want. And that makes a really nice pocket. It's also big enough that it could be a wraparound. So what I mean by that is going to the corner here. So here's my page that's going to turn. If I went to the corner, if I folded this in half, and put it right here, and I would glue across the bottom only. I would put a tiny bit of glue down the center, only on these spots there. So the center stays put, the bottom stays put. And then I have a tuck spot on both sides. So this is long enough to use for that. Or you could cut it in half and make 2 smaller pockets somewhere. I know Margie has done this. This is one I really like doing this. It's a lot of fun. And that is taking nesting dies. I'm knocking the paper on the floor. I think I have the nesting dies right here. There they are. Okay, taking nesting dies and cutting them out to be journal covers. So if I would cut the largest one to be the journal cover. So this happens to be the largest one of that. And this, I just love this. This is from that Nightfall of Stamperia. But this side that has that rustic wood with the purple in it. It's really pretty. That would make a really cute little journal. In fact, this one makes me want to turn it this way and have it flip up, that way with pages. And then I would take the next size down and cut all my paper that I'm using with the next size down. And so it's the exact same shape and it's a little bit smaller, so it fits right in perfectly. This is some of that sparkle paper, or what is it? Glitter paper that we have had in the past. This is the largest one from this set. And same thing, this glitter paper is definitely heavy enough to be a cover. So if I do the largest one there, makes a cute little cover here, has a little bit of glitter, and I can just come here and trim the little hook off, that little point that comes up on the top and the bottom. I would wait until I fold it, and then I could just trim that off if I wanted to. And that's a cute shaped cover for a mini book. Now, if I wanted to, I could do it this way, and I could stamp or watercolor or whatever on the outside being white. So if you wanted to do your own art on the cover and let this be the inside, you could do that, put a little pocket. Half of that would be covered anyway. So here's a little bit larger example. I was going to staple it, and my stapler's out of staples, and I didn't have time to go dig them out. So this one is the largest of the oval dies. Okay, so there is a nice cover, and go either way. And then I took the next one in and cut the coffee dyed paper so it fits perfectly. I'll just staple this one in. You could punch a couple holes or even three holes and do a pamphlet stitch on that to keep it closed. And that's a fun shape. These are fun. These little ones that are fun shapes to me are fun ones to add to a larger journal so that they, they just fit in, and it's like a surprise you pull out, and it isn't just another journal. It's a fun shaped journal. Another one that is excellent for that would be something that is this shape. So when you fold that one, the large one, in half, that's really almost regular book shape right there, except it's very fancy edges, but that is book shape. Okay, so that's a fun one to use.
Oh, I've got a book one.
Oh, I think I do too, but I like the funky shapes, and I think it was Margie years ago that first got me thinking about. And if you're doing these, like I might do one like that, but then I might go take not the teeny tiniest one, but the next one, the one above that, and cut even a smaller die, and then the smaller pages, and just make a tiny one. Right. Nesting dies are perfect for a tunnel book as well.
I was just getting ready to say that to you, but
yeah, thank you. Great idea, Margie. That's a really great idea. I do like that. How about, and I have just realized that I have multiples of the same dies. So these are windows and doors. I have not even finished weeding these yet. And windows, doors, and gates. If you have a window, a door, or a gate, these are fun to put down. You could back them with paper and then just cut. So this could be backed with a black glitter paper would be really cool. In fact, if you cut out this gate, I could see this on a Halloween, in a Halloween book, cut out of black glitter paper. And so then I could take the two dies and just glue them together, and that would give it the strength that it needs so it doesn't get torn, and then have one or both of the gates open. You can prop it open, or I like to put something on the page and then give you the ability to pick up the gate or the door or the window and look behind it to see what is there. That works not only on gates, but on doors, on windows. It works on all of them. So these are fun, backed in acetate. which gives them the strength that they need. And then you could even watercolor or alcohol ink color on the window panes there and make it look like stained glass if you wanted to. Another fun one. Well, this is a not a specific one. This is a type. So a type of die that is an overlay. Card makers use these overlays. So they'll cut this out and maybe cut it out of pretty paper and then lay it over the top of something else. And so you see the beautiful design. This has flowers coming out of it. So these I like to cut in white. So again, I can watercolor the flowers, and you don't even have to be great at watercoloring. All you have to do is get some color on those spots and some green where it needs to be green, because it's only partial. It's not even a whole flower. You know, it's the outline. Hi, Joanne. Good to see you. So overlays that are used for cards are great. And then depending on what colors you do that, you could decide what you're going to back it with and use that as a pocket in a journal. They're very pretty. Very, very pretty. Another one would be to cut out the overlay in black so it looks like a silhouette. And there's some fun overlays that you could use in a Halloween journal, cutting them out of black as a silhouette, and then back it. I don't have a bigger piece of white right here, but back it with white. And so it actually does look like a silhouette, and make that a pocket or a tuck spot. Super easy to do. All you're doing is cutting it out of black cardstock and a white square behind it. It's so easy to use your dies and die cuts in junk journaling. These are just a couple of fun ones. The bustier. I don't know if I got it in white too. I usually have them in white and black. And then if I want them in particular, I'll usually have a couple cut out in a light vintage color, because I can always thought. I just read Joanne's comment and said thought. Never thought of doing that. Hey, Sylvia. Welcome, welcome. I usually have these in white and in black because I can add sparkle and shine to white and black really easily. And then I usually have a few cut out in just a light vintage color, because I can add a little bit of ink if I want to make that a little bit darker. But they're super easy to use. And if you're doing a sewing journal or, you know, a Victorian journal, things like that, this is just a fun addition. It makes a great tuck spot anywhere. I just glue the bottom part down, and then the tuck is the top part. You can use it to put it on a pocket or on a card that is going to be a tuck spot, or a corner, things like that. Easy to use.
I see that actually being cut apart for a couple different things too.
This?
So I can see different things with it.
You mean like using the top, using the bottom? Yeah. And that's the other thing, is don't hesitate to look at your die cuts through different eyes and say, oh, what if I were to use just that portion right there? Or right, what if I put this portion and it went off the page, and so it was cut right there? This is another fun one that I would use in the same style journal, even here, a ladies journal or Victorian or a sewing journal. Super fun. And that is the high heel shoe. I'll often cut these out of black, and then I'll use a metallic marker to do the flowers, which gives it a metallic shine accent. Very pretty. And then you could back it in a metallic, or back it in white, or typically this is one I'll put onto something like a card, a journal card, or a pocket, and let it just really accent that. The fan is kind of the same way. I cut these and have not weeded them at all. So I cut the fan out of both white and black, and you can see all the fancy little cuts in there for the ladies fan. So it would be fun in that same journal. I would use this as a corner tuck, and a lot of times up in the top corner like this, so I can just stick something up in there. When I do that, I will double it up. So if this is black, I will take another one. I might take the white and go like that, or more frequently, I would put the black behind so it acts as a shadow and go like that. But I don't usually leave just the white. I would watercolor this just with a bunch of colors because, you know, those fans are always so beautiful and colorful. But even if it's the same, if you cut them out of paper that you love, the sparkly paper, maybe the glitter paper, I would just take two and I glue them back to back just to make it double thick because I don't want it getting destroyed. And then when I glue it down, I'll glue this, the handle, and I'll glue down here and down here. And that's it, up in the corner. And then this whole area here is open to be used as a corner tuck for a journal card. So that's a lot of fun. Sometimes I will cut things out of paper that I have put lunar paste on, or paint, or like the metallic inks that we just got from Lisa Horton. I was trying those metallic inks on white paper and on black paper. So now I have paper that has metallic ink already on it. That's a perfect one. I will cut out hearts from those because then they have little shiny metallic hearts, and I love those. They go everywhere. They can just add on to any page. They can add on to any journal card, and they're super fun for putting in a cluster. So when you start putting, you know, some paper and a piece of fabric, and then you want something that's a little focal point there, and then maybe you stick a button on top of it, this is perfect for that. The little, you know, stringy heart, and it doesn't have to be metallic to do that. I thought there was another one of those in here too. We'll probably come to it. But I left these in here because I often cut out multiples of these little cars, and I'll cut them in black and I'll cut them in white. And you can see this part already glued together. I'll put the white on top of the black and let the black be the shadow. And then I'll take pens or markers and just kind of color the wheels in different spots so that the car remains white, but it has the accent pieces colored, even if they're just done in black, so that it stands out easily and isn't just a shape. And those are just super fun to use. But there's like a Volkswagen in here and an old jalopy. There's three, and then the wheels, because you cut it out like this, and then you choose the wheel, and you put the wheel, just glue the wheel over the top of it. So, you know, if you're doing a gentleman's journal, and you're like, I don't have all that much stuff for a gentleman's journal, go to your dies, find what dies you might have that, you know, cars are always good for guys. And you can take these and use them as embellishments or use them as tuck spots. Do you make stuff without sewing or loads of lace? Not it. Wait, let me go back here. What's Glennis not crafting? What? The horror.
I'm sorry.
Are you slacking?
I'm slacking on reading to you because I was trying to get some stuff made so that I can do something.
Glennis, are you feeling okay? This trick is showing off all those dies that I do not have but want desperately. Oh. Glennis, are you feeling okay if you're not crafting? You are resting. Well, cut 300 dies. That is totally okay. You don't have to do it 24/7. Never used your die cuts in your journals. What a dum-dum. No, I don't think it's dum-dum. I think that we just don't think about it. And part of that, for me, I might think about something that would go with a journal, but if this is honest truth, and maybe it's lazy, maybe, I don't know. But if I'm making a journal and I'm on a roll putting stuff together, I just do not want to stop and go get my die cutter, which is the machine.
Yep.
And flip through all my organized dies. They're organized. Flip through them all, find the die, and then get the right paper, and then make myself one little die cut for this. I just don't want to do that. It seems like more time than, not that it's hard work, but it seems like more time than it's worth for one. And that to me is the reason to have a batch die cutting day where you take ones that you think you're likely to use more frequently and do a lot of them. And then even the ones that you don't use frequently, and at least do a couple of them and have those on hand. And we'll talk about storage for those because there's a lot of different ways to do that. And like I said, we'll have a batch die cutting day coming up pretty soon because a lot of us want to, or at the point where we need to cut some more. If I can just go over there and grab that die cut and put it in my book, I'm good to go. But if I have to stop and do it, I don't do it either, Joanne. So, and I think maybe that's why a lot of times people don't think about using them, is because it's just so much effort.
I forget, to be honest.
Yeah. To me, everything is fair game. Often things that most people would say don't belong. Yeah. And if you start to get your mindset of, I can put anything in a junk journal. That's why it's called a junk journal. I can put anything I want. So, like using die cuts of lace rather than real lace. Okay, I get that. I do get that.
Like to have some lace die cuts. That would be cool.
Sending Glennis some bug spray. And Joanne, I know that you're a card maker. So you probably have lots of great overlays. I'm going to show you another trick coming up, but overlays are awesome to put something behind. I think you came in right when we were talking about this one with white behind it. What a great pocket or tuck spot that would make in a journal. You've probably got a lot of great overlays. I hate die cutting. Joanne, I do too, because it just seems like a pain for one little die cut. And that's why I will do a batch die cutting day and cut a whole bunch of them. And then I don't have to do it again for a year. Honestly, I would really rather, just do it a whole bunch. Let's see. And Joanne, it would be more pleasant if you were doing it with us. So what we're going to do is a batch die cutting day, and we'll go live, and you could be on with me if you want. Sylvia, I know, needs to batch die cut. Jen probably does, but I know DM does. And we'll just, whoever wants to be on we'll just batch die cut and take breaks whenever we want. And we'll just get a whole stash built up. And time goes faster, and it's not such a pain to do it when we're doing it together. So,
right.
Yeah, definitely do that. Not on a Monday. No, we'll probably do it in an afternoon that would go into an evening. So that'll make it a little bit easier. And with the time change, afternoon for me is end of work day for you, Jen. So, and fussy cutting, I'm sorry. I don't mind fussy cutting. I don't mind the process of fussy cutting, but I do mind fussy cutting because it seems to take me forever. So I just don't feel like I can accomplish very much in a period of time. So, and die cut exchange. Yes. Die cut exchange is awesome. We do that at retreat, every retreat, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing it amongst the people who are doing it together, batch die cutting. If I have a die that you really like, I can cut out an extra however many for you. And if you have one that I really like, you cut out some extra for me. I typically will just do those in white, send them to you, because then you can color them either with your ink pad or watercolor or whatever. You can color them any color you want. So that's awesome, because then you get a whole bunch more die cuts than you actually have dies for. So let me go right to this one, because this is one of my favorites with the overlays. So here's an overlay that I have. I love it. The name of this shape, quatrefoil. It's a quatrefoil shape. You've all seen it. We have paper that's quatrefoil. Rack, rack, rack. It's hard to rack the die cuts that you cut when you're doing that, Sylvia, for me, because it takes so long to do it. And I don't like doing it. And so I only do it every now and then. It's hard to get rid of them or let them go because I don't want to do it again.
You spent time on them and you don't want to.
I don't want to do it again, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a quatrefoil overlay, and on a card, you would cut one of these out. Here's one that is cut out of metallic. There's a metallic ink on, it was just white paper and it's metallic ink. And so maybe I would overlay this over a print or something pretty on a card and then put a sentiment on it or something.
Over like a one of your pulls from a
oh, it'd be pretty over a gel print. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so I have a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch of these cut out of all different. Doesn't belong there, but it's okay. I have a whole bunch of these that are cut out of all different colors of paper. And I like having a whole bunch of these because one of my favorite things to do, those three will work, is to take 3 of these and 3 of the same color, like 3 greens, but 3 different shades of green. I'm going to find 3 blues here. 3 different shades of blue that will work. I think those 3 will work. Doing this just rather quickly. Maybe that one's even better. We can take a look at it. Yeah, 3 shades. So you've got, you know, the monochromatic of the same color. I'm going to leave those for now. Let's do, I don't have 3 shades of pink, but I've got purples and pinks, and I think that might work. Yeah, that one would work. Oh, that one would even work too. So, okay, we'll take a look at different ones and how they would work. And this is, you can actually, let's see. Maybe I might like that light one better and have to do more of that one. All right, so here's what I love to do is to take 3 of these. And when this is one of the first techniques I saw when I first got a die cutting machine years and years ago. So I can't even tell you who I saw do it. It has been that long. But she cut out 3 of the overlays. And I remember it because she did them in green. And she just had 3 different shades of green, which I did not have in my scraps because, again, everything is done from scraps here. I'm using up my scraps. I did not pull a fresh piece of paper for anything. And so, you know, yeah, that's a big scrap, but scrap is an offcut. I'm not going to put it back with my regular size paper. All offcuts and scraps. And so she did 3 shades of green. So these 3 here, and she only did them in solids, but I have found that I like them with a print as well. So this has a print and it's just kind of a vintage. There's some writing on it, but you don't see a whole lot of it. And then this is kind of a brownish grape maroon, kind of a brown maroon. And then this is a print that has that same brown maroon in it. Okay, so when you look at what order you'd want them in, but I'm going to take this one on the bottom. I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to just offset it. I want to make sure that there are no gaps in between. So you have to look at not just the edge, but the quatrefoil itself for no gaps. And then I'm going to take the third one. Oops, I let it move when I picked up my finger. I'm going to take the third one and I'm going to slightly offset it from that.
Wow, my hands are shaking trying to get these set on the.
And okay, this is not easy to do to hold all 3, but you're going to get the idea. What I would do is put the glue on the back of the second one and I would attach it to the first one. And then I would put the glue on the back of the third one and attach it to that. So you don't actually have to hold all 3 at the same time. But when you get the three together, oh man, that's just not working. To hold it up so you can see. You can tell though that when you get that offset, you get that little bit of all of them. And how fun is that? It looks really, really cool. Let me show you this one. Here's 2 shades of blue and one that has a pattern blue. It's actually just like the paper looks like those water marbling kind of things. I just did a lot of die cutting and sell sets of die cuts. I could do that. Too much to ask. I would purchase. I probably have more fun playing with the inside pieces of that quadrifoil. Jen, I have hundreds. With all these, I have hundreds of the inside piece of that. I couldn't throw them away. These are, yeah, what fun. I don't know. I don't know. They may become confetti for somebody's room at retreat. I don't know.
You'll be vacuuming them up because I'm not.
No. Yeah, those inside pieces that are cut out. I am going to actually glue this one together because it is really quite impressive when you see it all together. All right, so you really don't need a ton of glue everywhere. I'm going to put it on the thick points here. You could run it all the way down. I'm not going to. I'm just going to put a little bit here and there. It'll hold. I could do it all the way across here. I'm only going to do it on those thick points because it's going to be a little bit out over the edge. Now, the other thing that you can do on this is the same thing that I like to do with my words. Would make it easier to glue. I will show you that. All right, so let's put the first one down. We're going to get the second one in line. I want the top and the bottom in line. And I want left to right. I don't want gaps between that quatrefoil.
The thick points. That's what RG says.
The thick points?
Yeah.
I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay. There. And once I've got that side aligned, all I have to do is press it down because everything else will be aligned. The thick points on the side, meaning these little spots.
Those.
Right. Yeah, I don't have to run all the way down the side because of that. And then this was a piece of metallic paper that just happens to be the perfect. So I'll go just to those little thick points there. I don't have to run it all the way down the side. And then now I don't have glue oozing out everywhere. Doesn't need that much to hold together, honestly. It really doesn't. And when I do this with 3 of these, it's
she
now
was being
really
naughty. She was thinking of it naughty.
I'm ignoring it. When I do 3 of these together, it's now thick enough and strong enough that I don't need to back it with another paper if I don't want to. Okay, so I'm going to add that. Biggest thing here is just making sure that it fits in. I'm trying to match the margin the same, but also make sure that there's no gaps in the quatrefoil.
Go through.
Once I've got the left, I got a little bit of gap on that one. Darn it. I'll live with it, but darn it, I did not want that. Okay, so if I lift this up, now you can see how you can see all 3. And it's really cool when you're doing 3 different shades of the same color, like the 3 different shades of green, a lime, a Kelly, and something darker.
I have a question about that. Would you cut off the 2 sides on the left-hand side to make it look like they were just behind the one front color?
You mean like cut this off here?
Cut the 2 left-hand sides off.
This right here. Yeah. I wouldn't because that is the one spot where I actually get to see those colors really nicely. And over here, I'm so sorry for the trucks outside working in the driveway across the street. You can hear them. Over here, you're going to see them too inside.
Right.
So I like to leave them because to me, I like to see,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that design. It's just kind of a larger piece of this, which is really
Right.
small. But
Right.
hi, Julie. It's just fun.
Really?
It's just
Right.
really fun. And you get the purple together. Like this was a piece from the, what is it? Night, whatever, you know, that
Nightfall.
Nightfall. And so there's little bits of lighter pink on that.
Yep.
And so you put that over a pink. I don't want that bright pink to be the main color on the outside, so I'm going to put it behind. And then solid purple behind that, which is not the same color as the purple in Nightfall. Look at that.
Yeah.
They just look cool. They really look dimensional. They look like they're thick and you're seeing down the side of it. So those are a lot of fun. And you can do that with a lot of your overlays. So check what overlays you have. This is the glitter paper, and it is silver with light pink flowers on it. So if I put that,
yeah, I got lots of that.
You've got lots of that. And then I could put the dark pink behind it, or I could put that. I think a lavender, maybe. Oh, the purple might work too, but or even a dark gray would be pretty there. Better than that. So yeah, check what overlays you have, because I'll bet you have a whole bunch that would be really fun to do that technique with. Okay, so, and that, you know, I mean, you look at that, that can be a pocket on the front and back cover right there. You don't even have to have something behind it, so you could see what's in it. That could be, you could actually turn it into doors by cutting it down the middle and letting them open.
Right.
If you were doing a circus journal, and so you could have an animal in there behind it, would be kind of fun.
Yeah, their head would stick out.
Right, cut it diagonally and then put it in two corners. There's just a lot of things you could do with that. Okay, here's one of my favorite ones. And I thought the dies were in here too. This one is, oh, there's the dies right here. I have not taken, a lot of times when dies come, they are stuck together. Sometimes I take them apart and sometimes I don't. I don't have any reason to cut these apart, because when I cut them, I typically want to cut all three. I also don't want to lose them, so that I'm always looking for the others. These are three different chains. Think of all the things that you could use the chains for. And so when I put it in, I just cut all three, and I'll cut through more and through more and through more, instead of cutting them one at a time. And since they're already together, I don't have to tape them down to keep them from running over the top of each other. So I did some in a paper that is kind of, it's a pattern on one side. So it kind of can just look like a dirty chain, or the back side was just more brown. Now this I would take and start to turn it into rust. You can actually rust paper. So I would probably turn it into a rusty chain. Now, the other two are down here. They're down here somewhere. They are in here. I don't know. They'll pop up. But here's the same one cut out of that glitter paper. So it looks like shiny metal. And you could, again, I haven't even finished weeding these, pulling those centers out. But it looks like a shiny metal. You could scuff that up to make it look like scuffed up metal. But the back of that is also white. So I can make it whatever color I want and not have to use the glitter side. I love this, though, because that looks like a shiny new metal chain. So if you want a shiny new metal chain, you got it with the glitter paper. And if I don't, then I'm just going to start scuffing that up. You see a little bit of the shine. You see the scuffed up. Now it starts looking like a used chain. And then I could add rust. I could add patina, all those things. You could also take multiples and glue them together to make them thicker. I've done that. And here's the third one. Again, needing to be weeded, but this is also cut out of that silver. So it's a much smaller one, like the little balls together. on those small chains. So depending what you're doing, these are fun to use on mixed media projects that you can just coat with black gesso, and then you can put whatever you want on them to turn them whatever color you want. And you can cut multiples of these and put them end to end so that your chain is as long as you want, or take it around. You know, so here, see how they each link overlaps? You cut the next one and you just overlap it like that, and it just keeps going. And it's just one continuous chain. So I love the chain dies. And I ran downstairs before we started because I thought I had some in the shop, and I do. The chain die comes in, you get the set of 3. You get all 3 of them. And I have 10 left in the shop. And so I will offer them today for anybody here that wants the chain dies for $7. That's all 3 of them. And they're super lightweight, so I'll be able to put them in an envelope that they'll just slide through and can actually go like letter weight. I won't have to put them in a big envelope. Or I can wrap them in bubble wrap if you want, or put them in a bubble envelope, and then they're probably going to be $4.95 to ship them. Once you get past that thickness, $4.95 seems to be about the minimum for everything. But I can put a piece of paper around it and still get it in a letter envelope. I wouldn't trust that chain to hold anything. Just my mixed media, it'll hold. So if you would like a set of the 3 chain dies for $7, let me know in chat. There are 10 available. If you're watching on the replay, you can leave a comment, or you can come to Facebook and send me a private message in Facebook. If you go to Happy Paper People with Marianne Facebook group, you can find me an admin, send me a private message. If you've been with us before, then we're probably already friends, and you can shoot me a message easily. And as long as I have some available, they are yours. Here's another one of the metallic hearts. I love these. Just that it's like you scribbled it. Like you just scribbled a heart over and over and over.
Oh, I know. I like those too.
Yeah. But, you know, I can't really cut it out when I scribble it. So it looks like I scribbled it, but it's cut out. Yep. That's fun. Okay. So many more fun things to do. So if you are doing a journal where you want to have flowers on the page, or you want to have animals on the page, and sometimes it's awkward just to have the animal just sitting there, or maybe you want to draw a little house, or maybe your paper has a little house on it. One of the, where did it go? I just held it up and showed you, and it's suddenly
disappeared out.
There it is. There it is. One of the fun ones is this picket fence die. And it comes with a picket fence gate if you want to use it. Or this could be a little picket fence die cut that you used on a tag, and just have a small, or you cut this one up, you cut it into pieces and use it on different tags. So how cute would this be on your page, and then having a bunch of flowers coming up from behind it that you have watercolored, and at the top of the page, one of your dragonflies or butterflies that you watercolored. And it's just cute. Or on the bottom of a tag, and having these flowers that you watercolored coming up on the tag. So fun there. Yeah, love these hearts, huh, Sylvia? I know, I love the scribble hearts. And so I typically will cut this fence out of something brown, sometimes a wood grain, because it is wide enough that you could see the wood grain on it. And I'll also do it out of white so that I can color it any color I want, or just leave it white with a little bit of ink on the edge to make it stand out. Oh, here's another favorite. If you are a card maker, you most likely have dies that are edges. And so you do this on the edge of the front of the card, and then whatever color is behind it shows through, and then you open the card, and there you see. Okay, well, you can also do them on the edge of your pages in your journal, but I don't typically think about exactly how I'm going to decorate it before I put the journal together. So I will cut this out, and if it's right here, it is right here. I'll show you. It comes, most of these edge dies are cut out all the way, but they do not cut out on this edge. Because if you were going to do it on the edge of your card, you would put your card, you know, like this, and it would cut out the design on the edge, but it's not going to cut the rest of your card. So then you can fold your card and you're good to go. So it doesn't cut there. So when I put it on paper to cut it out to use in a journal, I will put it on the paper and I will leave a 1/4 of an inch extra space there. And when I die cut, I mean, a lot of people just put one on and whip it through, but I try to fill the page. If I'm using scraps, I put all kinds of things on and I just cut everything out. That's less times I have to run it through. I'm not going to do one die at a time. So I'll put it like this and I'll leave about a 1/4 of an inch and I'll fill the rest of the page with all the other dies that I'm going to cut. And when I get that out, then this is what I have. So you can see I have that plus about a 1/4 of an inch. And this gives me enough room to attach it and still see the full picture. So I can put this on the edge of a page, and I might be using a page that maybe I cabbage dyed, and it's a really pretty blue, and it might look like the sky behind it. Or maybe it's one that you onion skin dyed, and you've got a really pretty golden or a yellow or something like that. So any color behind it is really pretty. And I might take some watercolor and just, color in these little bluebells here, but let these be from whatever is behind it. And again, you could do this out of whatever color you wanted. By doing it white, I know I can use it anywhere because I can add color to it. So then I can, if I want to, I can score down here 1/4 of an inch so that I could fold it and let it flip out, or I can put it on the edge of the page and let the color behind it accent it. Obviously not coffee dyed, but some color accent it. If I do have all coffee dyed pages, then I can find some pretty paper that I like the color and cut a piece that goes from the end out here to wherever the holes end here, and then just glue it onto it. And so then when I glue that onto my page, it does have a backing that is pretty. And the reason I leave that 1/4 inch is so then when I put it on my page, I've got a 1/4 inch that I can overlap something else to integrate it and have a little bit of continuity, not just this sticking there with this harsh edge. So I might glue a pocket down right there, or put something else there that has a tuck in it, but I'll put something there that covers that edge. And so out from underneath something else just comes this pretty, edge. So it could be a short page. Yeah, that would be awesome too. If you have not put the book together, you could cut that on a smaller piece of paper on the right side and let it be a short page in the journal. My problem is I usually have the journal put together and then I'm decorating it, and then I go, oh, that would be cool there. But, it's kind of late because I've already sewn them all in. But any of your edge dies, and most card makers typically have an edge die or 10. So here's some smaller versions. We looked at some of these, the nesting dies that you can make a journal cover, and then inside use the next smallest one down to cut paper. That can be your journal pages. And I showed you this one that makes a cute little book, and this one, they're just different shapes. This one I love to put this way. It just, I don't know, it just feels like it should go that direction to me. But this makes just a cute little perfect hand size little book here. And where, oh, here they are. These little guys are just the smaller versions of these. That one and this one. They're just the teeny tiny ones There's all different sizes. Most of them have 8 to 10 different ones. So I will cut out a variety of these smaller ones. And usually when I cut them, I'll cut like all the sizes, all the small ones, and then I'll do them all again. All the small ones, all the small ones. So I will end up with multiples of the same size because these are awesome, awesome tabs. So you can take these and just like, of course, you could make a teeny tiny journal with it, but just like the journal cover, you would just fold it in half there. And when I do these, I snip off that tiny little edge. I think I buried my scissors. I just snip off that tiny little point there. You can really use virtually any shape to make a tab. And so it's flat across the top, but it has a really pretty design there. And then there's your tab. And I typically would put glue up to about here. So that part would be sticking up as the tab. And then down below, you've got a nice little design. You can also do it the other way, and it's white. So you could stamp on it or ink it or spray it or watercolor it and make it whatever color you want. Here's another one just made of the other paper. Again, I just snip those little corners off that just stick out there. And here's the other shape. How fun is that? You know, tabs are fun, and they're, to me, the funkier shape they are, the more fun they are, because they're just not ordinary. So if you take this one, and this is a much thicker paper because it is, this stuff that is glitter paper is quite thick, and that's what makes it good as a tab or as a journal cover. I'm going to snip just a little bit of that off because that point's just going to end up getting smushed anyway. So I'm not going to go in too tight though. It still has a little bit of curve out. You can see. So that makes a really fun shaped tab, and you can put as much down or left sticking up as you want. There's plenty to put over your page. Okay, so those are fun for tabs. Circles make great tabs. If you have punches or dies that cut out label shapes, labels are great for tabs. Cat would like that. Since you've already put the book together, you can tip it easily by cutting it up most of the page. Yeah, you could do that. First, something in it. Was there anything in the, in the box? Wait, what? Oh, Sylvia just received a box. Is it an empty box? Sylvia, you better open it while we're here. I think you should open it while we're all here to see, to hear. Okay, so these, I love these. I love having a whole mess of these in all different colors of scraps and black and white. Black and white, I can just put lunar paste or metallic ink on and change them up, anytime. If I have a whole bunch of them cut in all different kinds of scraps, there's going to be a color that works with whatever I'm wanting to do it with. But these are just great little embellishments. Look at these.
Meadow, where are you?
They're just small. They're just a good little shape. And see, those are all the same. And here's even a third shape. Now this one is bigger. So this one I often take, I almost did it and then I thought, no, I should wait and do it with you. I'll take it and tear it apart. So this right here, you can see where I almost did it before. That comes off, and that's just a cool little embellishment right there. This is perfect to layer on a cluster or add it onto a belly band. Same thing here. Take this one off right here. And there you go again. And then I could light a butterfly or a dragonfly that's sitting right up there on that. That's pretty cool looking. And then this, the whole thing is, I could tear it in half, but this whole thing is just nice like that. So on a pocket or a tag with something else over the top of it, so you see it peeking out. So black and white, I always have a lot of those. And any other scraps that are colors that I might use. Now, this is one, this is the Tim Holtz medallion, and I just love these on hand. I'll just cut them out of all the scraps that I can find. And I do always have black and white ones because it's easy to run some lunar paste over the top or some metallic gilding paste or gilding ink over the top of those and accent them in whatever color you want. And you can do that on any of them. It doesn't have to just be the black and white ones, but they are very cool. And the tighter the print is, the cooler the medallion looks. I did these on pretty open prints, knowing that I was probably going to add color to them. There's another little maple leaf. Fearless leader leads us down the path of dyes, batch making and showing us her dyes, which in turn has me drooling over her dyes.
Yeah.
And Margie says, I have to say I only cut die cuts when I need them, as I don't know what color I want until making.
I was just getting ready to tell you those.
And Margie, that's why I cut a whole bunch in a variety of colors out of my scraps, because I just don't like cutting one at a time. To me, it feels like it's pulling me away from my project and, diverting me. And then I have to come back to it. It doesn't feel like part of my project. So, but I get it. So Sylvia of her dyes, what do you need to clean up a puddle of drool? She gifts me random die cuts. I had to laugh out loud. Well, I didn't totally trust the postal system and know that was going to arrive today, but yeah, Margie, yeah, you're a better woman than I am. I don't know if it's lazy or impatient or what there, but I sent a box to Sylvia, and some of what is in it was gifted from Margie, and then there was some other stuff that I had gifted to Sylvia. It's a rack box for the most part, but the cutest little, you're going to have to post a picture of the cutest little pouch that has the Wizard of Oz, and it has the four Wizard of Oz people, and their all arms are linked and they're skipping away. And so you see them from behind. And so, yeah, didn't that just scream Sylvia? Yeah, that has to go to Sylvia. And I thought, I can't just send her an empty pouch. So, so I took an afternoon and I sat down with a bunch of heart dies because Sylvia loves heart. And I die cut a bunch of heart dies and sent her the die cuts.
That's awesome.
I knew she liked hearts, and so I did do one of those overlays that is that big journal card that I folded in half around the side, and it cuts out all those little tiny hearts out of it. I gathered them all up and I stuck them in there too.
I like those round floral ones there.
The medallions?
Yeah, the medallions.
Yeah, I do too. I like having them in a variety of colors. I like using something on them to afterwards. Bye, Joanne. Thanks for coming in for a while. I like using either ink, over the top just to highlight, or some gilding, some gold. Yep. Oh, let me show you another couple of techniques that I really love when you cut out a bunch of stuff. So say you cut out, I was going to do this and just ran out of time. I had some words here. Let's say I cut out I had a thing of Christmas words, and it has a really pretty nice jingle. It says, jingle for Christmas. And so if I cut that out, I don't want to just put the paper jingle on wherever, because that's just kind of boring. So I want to make it foil, gold foil or silver foil, or red foil, or something that's going to go with my project. And so I will take a glue pen and take that. You know what? I might just do it with one of these, because How fun will that be? I'm going to take the glue pen. And this is not flat like a word would be. Oh, maybe we'll do it on something flat. Why not? Let's just have fun with this. A maple leaf for Glynis. It's a Canadian maple leaf. But we're going to make it, whoopsie, that was all ready to go. I didn't even realize it was already down there. All I'm going to do is paint this with the glue pen. And I thought I grabbed foil sheets, but I didn't. I grabbed foil paper. And so when I looked at it right before we went live, I didn't have time then to go get foil sheets. But the foil, what do you call them? Little bits and pieces?
Yeah.
The foil little bits and pieces were already sitting here at my desk. So I have the foil bits and pieces, which I have to keep in a bag. I can't open them completely because I do have a fan on overhead. So I put glue on this and I'm just letting it kind of sort of dry so it gets sticky. And I'll make it gold because then we can add some orange and red and stuff later. Really what I would do is take a sheet of foil and put it over the top of it and rub it on. But because I didn't have that right there, I'm going to use some of these and they will work just as well. Oh, there's a nice big sheet. Look at that. Wow.
I don't know why I just did what I did.
So I try not to have glue all over my hands. So all you do is press it down on it. Oh, some of it isn't dried enough. You got to let it dry to the point that it becomes sticky. And it's not the same as that purposefully sticky stuff. I forget what it's called that we have tried in the past. But okay, if I had done this on orange paper, I would love this. Not waiting until it got completely sticky and then doing this so I have random gold. Because if I had orange or red paper and then the random gold over the top of it, that would be more random, like a true maple leaf would be. And that would look cool. Right now, it doesn't look cool because it should be all one color and it's not really. So, and I don't know if it's going to focus even because it's so metallic. So I will let that kind of dry and adhere, and then I put a little more glue on. I would be more patient and wait till it gets sticky, and then just take some of this foil and put it over the rest of those spots. So here's another tip that you can use not only for using up your scraps, but using up washi. So maybe you have this cool washi tape that would match. So this one, I think Carrie's the one that gifted us this at retreat one year.
No, I did.
Or was that you? Okay.
Yep.
And I just love this. I just love the color. But when I look at it, I see different things. You might see like mermaid scales. Come on, I don't want it to tear all the way around. All right, I'm going to stop right there. But you might see mermaid scales. You might see waves. You might see whatever it is. So maybe you have a die that would go well with that. You take this and you open it up and you put it on your paper, and then you put the die on it and you center the die to where you want because you're going to get the design on it, and then you cut it out. And then when you cut it out, you've got Goldfinger. I do have Goldfinger. When you cut it out, you've got this pattern and this color on the die that you just cut out, whether it's intricate, like a dragonfly, or whether it's a big thing like a mermaid tail. Either way, I might just like the colors of this and want the colors on the dragonfly. You're never going to see the shapes, but if I did a mermaid tail, you would see the shapes. So you can use up washi tape that you like the color of, but you don't really like the washi tape and you're not going to use it, on any of your projects. Put that washi out on paper and you can put the rows right next to each other so it's covered, and then cut use your dies and cut out die cuts, and that sticky paper will pull most of the gold off. That sticky paper. Our fingers are covered in gold. I would lay flakes down and then face down for glue, side down on flakes. Yeah, that might work too. And if you have any of that, that I forgot what it's called from Stamperia, that I've got one, but I didn't even go grab that because I know it'll work with the glue. But if you have a foil sheet, I know a lot of you have those little sheets of foil.
Yeah.
You can put the glue down and let it almost completely dry to where it's just barely, enough that it feels a little bit tacky. And then lay the sheet of foil on it and gently rub it. And then when you pick it up, you will have foil left on that. And that's fun to do on words. That would be fun to do on corners or small embellishments like this, that you just wanted to add a little bit of metallic to something, but you don't want a ton. So in short, yes, dies and die cuts are very versatile. Dies only really do one thing. They cut. Yes, die cuts are very versatile, and there's so many things that you can do with them, and we have only used a few of them today. Punches are the exact same way. Yes, totally agree. I punch out a lot of punch shapes and then fold them in half and use those as tabs. You don't always want the same shape tabs. It's just something, something different. And it doesn't matter what it is. Do it your own way. That's why I have lots of dies and punches. Yes, and true to form. Margie summed it up. Have you gotten a bunch cut out while we've been talking? Oh, look at you go. Woo! Oh, you've got some good nesting die shapes there. Yeah.
Yeah, these are stamps that I undid. And these are this is from Spellbinders Stamp and Die Set. It's wax seals.
Okay.
So I've put some on pieces of paper already. And like these outside edges, I just put them on like this, and then I can stamp on the inside.
Yeah.
This one right here, I was thinking that I could put, a ribbon in, and then put
two of them
this
together
on it, and then stamp something on it in black so that you have ribbons like that. So a couple of the other things I stamped out is this shape, which you can do the same thing for, is to get a ribbon coming out.
Yeah, I have a punch that does that shape.
Yeah, but I also thought
it could be a label, but that's one that I fold in half like that a lot and uses a tab.
And uses a tab. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. The other, I punched out there was two ways you can punch it out. It was this with the little one on the inside and like
then the frame.
And then the frame on the inside. So there was two ways to cut it out, and you got four different shapes. So I did it one way and then I did it another. So I would have the full backing. So I would have double layered ones.
Yeah. I like those.
And you could, when you have the full, you can put either the outside edge on it. But I think if I were to do the outside edge, I would do like I'm doing here and put it on a flat piece of paper and then cut them out from there, so that you would use the edge of the paper, this as the edge, and then cut it around. So I also cut out some tags.
Oh yeah.
And I cut out some of these little paper holder paper clips.
They're paper clips.
paper clips. And I cut out some tags just to have a very, very well. Right now, what I'm working on is sort of a bluish purple thing. So I stayed in that sense. So I used some vintage page on it, and some stuff that I've dyed.
Uh-huh.
Made some really cool, that looks like the moon.
Oh yeah, it does. That's cool.
So
Margie, I can't tell you how many dyes I dropped while cutting all these things out last night. Yes, I did. She knew that. She knew that. That's why she's saying that. Yes, keep a strong magnet on hand. And mine isn't. Oh, it is up there. I forgot that I changed where it was, and it's right up there. Those telescoping ones, you can pick them up for a couple bucks at Harbor Freight.
yeah,
Telescoping magnet that mechanics often use. A lot of people use them. You can stick them down any tiny little place, but they're great just for reaching down and picking up something that slid off into the trash can. My thing is my arm or sleeve is always pulling something off onto the floor. So I think we'll save the discussion for different ways you can store your die cuts for the day that we do the batch die cutting, because there's a lot of different ways and we could spend half an hour on that easily. So the day that we're die cutting, that's when we'll all be thinking about storing them. We can talk about how, and you can punch die cut as well. And so you've got those shapes. We'll talk about different ways that people store them. And what did Julie say? A friend of mine lost a die while die cutting and searched high and low. Eventually she realized it was stuck to her. That happened to me today, Julie. My watch band is magnetic. And yes, I ran across the hall before we started. I came back and told DM. I looked down and that tiny die was stuck on my watch band.
that happened.
Yes, it did. That is so funny. Yeah. Thank you.
Mine have been falling onto my dogs. So they're right at my feet. And every time I look down, there's something down on them. And I'm like, oh, thanks for catching that for me.
As long as you get it from them before they walk away and shake and send it.
Yeah. And it goes someplace else.
Thanks for joining us today. We do appreciate it. We appreciate a thumbs up. We appreciate your comments. If you have some other ideas of things that you use your die cuts for, please leave them in comments. There's a lot of different things. We could do several shows on this and have new things every time. So I know, Marge, it was pretty funny. And I'm like, okay, now I'm protecting my wrist, making sure I get it back in here. Like it's, not going to hold on strong enough. It did. So, but would love to see comments on other ideas that you have of how to use them. And watch for when we schedule a batch die cutting day, that a lot of us will be building our stash back up, getting rid of scraps and building our stash of die cuts to use for all kinds of things. So love you guys. We appreciate you. Look forward to seeing your pictures in the Facebook group of all the things you're working on. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, DM, for being here.
No